The secret name, Ray Cathode. In 1962, months before the world would hear of Beatlemania, George Martin walked into a sound laboratory that felt closer to a science facility than a music studio, the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. There were no guitars, no drums, no band, only oscillators, tape machines, test tones, and the eerie hum of electronics. Here, Martin did something almost nobody knew about for nearly 60 years. He recorded 2 experimental electronic instrumentals under a secret alias. Ray Cathode. This was not a joke project. This was structured, rhythmic, forward-thinking electronic composition, created with radiophonic composer Maddalena Fagandini. And it happened weeks before he first met the Beatles. Time Beat and Waltz in Orbit, April 1962. The 2 tracks were titled Time Beat, Waltz in Orbit. Listen closely and you hear something shocking. For 1962, mechanical pulse, hypnotic repetition, circular rhythm, textures that feel closer to modern electronic music than early 60s pop. These pieces were released quietly via parlophone records under the Ray Cathode name and then forgotten, overshadowed by what would happen next in Martin's life. Weeks later, history changes. In June 1962, George Martin met 4 young musicians from Liverpool at EMI. He signed them, he produced them, he shaped their sound. The world would soon know them as the Beatles. History remembers Martin as the classical trained producer who added strings to yesterday and sophistication to pop music. But history did not remember that he had already been experimenting with tape manipulation, electronic rhythm, and studio as instrument thinking before the Beatles ever entered Abbey Road. The blueprint for studio revolution, when the Beatles later created tape loops and sonic experiments on Revolver, 1966, and Sgt. Pepper's, 1967. Many thought this was brand new studio wizardry. It wasn't new to George Martin. He had already explored these ideas in 1962 as Ray Cathode. The ticking pulse of Time Beat suddenly feels like a distant ancestor of tomorrow never knows. The dots connect across time. The 2021 rediscovery that changed the story. Nearly 60 years later, the Ray Cathode recordings were unearthed, remastered, and reissued as a limited 12-inch vinyl. Modern electronic artists, Sparkle Division and Drum and Lace, contributed remixes, linking 1962 to the present. Music journalists began asking a provocative question. Was George Martin experimenting with electronica, dance textures before EDM even existed? The answer isn't that he invented EDM. It's something more fascinating. He was already thinking like a sound futurist before he became the most famous producer in rock history. What this reveals about George Martin. George Martin was not only the man behind the Beatles recordings. He was an early electronic experimenter, a tape manipulation pioneer, a producer who saw the studio as an instrument before it became common practice. And he hid that chapter behind the name Ray Cathode, a secret identity, a forgotten experiment, a missing piece of music history that finally resurfaced.